With the 14th pick in the 2013 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Star Lotulelei, defensive tackle, Utah.
The Carolina Panthers have their star at defensive tackle. He became the 7th Ute drafted in the first round, and first since Alex Smith was taken #1 overall in 2005. He met the North Carolina media on Friday and shared his thoughts on becoming a Panther.
I was just playing the waiting game the whole time. There was a couple teams that I thought were interested in me. One of them was Carolina, just because they came out and gave me an individual workout and kind of spent a lot of time with me and on the whiteboard and the blackboard talking football and kind of seeing how fast I can pick things up and the workout. So they were a team I thought was interested. I definitely thought there's some other teams that are interested in Will, but
Star Lotulelei.
It's really remarkable. Star Lotulelei. Tears and applause. A family affair.
It's been a rough road, hard road, and definitely to make it to that point of getting picked up, and it meant a lot to me and my wife and my kids, parents, my family.
And off Silas Red, he's going to be dropped by Star Lotulelei.
I learned from that year sitting out after high school that I can't do the 9-to-5 thing. You know, I learned that football's what I was made for. Football's what I need to be doing. That's what that year off taught me, is that I need to be playing football. So it was definitely a hard lesson learned. So getting here was, you know, I definitely wanted to check it out because, you know, like I said earlier, this is going to be my home for the next couple of years. My family's home for the next couple of years. So seeing the stadium was awesome. The facilities, just seeing it was great. This is where I'm going to be spending a lot of my time once we get the ball rolling for the season. But it was great.
There were 2 Utes selected in the 2013 NFL Draft. The other is Joe Kruger. He, of course, left a year early to enter the NFL Draft. Expert Mel Kiper gave him a 3rd-round grade, but he dropped to the 7th round, where the Eagles took him 212th overall. All right, let's welcome in the guys from Crimson Corner, Robert Jackson, Mike Grant. Let's break down the Utes in the 2013 Draft. We'll start with Star. He didn't go as early as we thought he might have, but did he land in the best place possible for him?
I think this is the best place possible, honestly. You wonder if he goes 1 or 2 or 3 overall like he was projected at the beginning, if that's too much pressure on a guy. We'll never know. I do know that Carolina, they need a defensive tackle. They need a guy who can eat up blocks. Star's their man.
And he seems to be a natural fit, Rojak, in Carolina, with 2 of the greatest Utes of all time there on the roster.
Yeah, 2 Pro Bowl Utes, and Jordan Gross and Steve Smith. And you look at, it took the Panthers about roughly 30 seconds to make that pick. I know that defensive coordinator Sean McDermott was ecstatic to see Star still on the board. And let's be honest, the Panthers got a steal of a pick at their 14th spot. And I think that Star has the potential to fit into that defensive system and make an impact right away for the Panthers.
And what he does, the Panthers have that linebacker, Luke Kuechly, who is spectacular. The Panthers want to free him up. Star does exactly that. He'll eat up easily 1, 2, and sometimes, like they talked about in the press conference, sometimes 3 blocks, so Kuechly can go make a tackle.
Yeah, Luke Kuechly, the defensive rookie of the year last year. They've also got a great pass rush. Greg Hardy, Charles Johnson combined for 24 sacks last year. So Star's a guy that's a space eater that's going to demand a double team. He makes things easy for the guys on the edge, and he makes it easy for the linebackers behind him. It's no wonder that the Panthers love this pick and are excited about what he can do.
Exactly, and the other thing is the offense can be explosive too. So if the defense can save 1 or maybe 2 scores from the other side of the ball, and that offense, maybe they'll get to the next level, make the playoffs. Star is I think he's just a perfect fit there.
Yeah, and you talk about the Utah family connections and having 2 other players that went to the U, playing with them. You have a Pro Bowl receiver in Steve Smith. It seems just to catch anything thrown his way, and then an offensive lineman, Jordan Gross, another great legend that played for the University of Utah. So a great connection to the University of Utah and to the Carolina Panthers. They obviously have trust in the system that Utes have in place.
I think those 2 are going to make him feel comfortable too. Right. I mean, they're going to show him the ropes and say, listen, this is how mini camps go, and this is how fall camp goes. Hopefully they'll take him under his wing.
Well, the GM called him one of their hog mollies. I don't know what that means, but it's very funny, and I like it. And they're going to expect him to start right out of the gate. And so there's a little bit of pressure on him, but I think he's ready for that kind of pressure. He's ready to star in the NFL.
Less pressure at 14 than at, say, 1, 2, or 3.
Sure.
I mean, after that heart condition came out, I mean, it was projected that he was going to go in the top 3. So a little bit of that pressure is taken off, as well as the signing bonus that he would have gotten being in that top 3. But I think that the Panthers is a better destination for him than the Raiders, let's say.
But they're not going to ask him to do anything different than what he did here.
Exactly.
And I think that's the beauty of it is, hey, just go eat up blocks. Stop the run. They have, like you mentioned, they have a great pass rush. So they're not going to ask him to initially maybe pass rush, but just do what he did here, and that's why they got him. Jeremiah, you cover all the locals too that come through here. What do you see with Star? Is it a good fit from your viewpoint?
Well, it's a perfect fit. I mentioned his defensive ends. I mentioned the linebackers. The guys that are in place to help him be successful. He's going to make them successful, so I think it's the right fit. And they have the philosophy that they're going to start with the defensive front first. That a good defensive front builds a Super Bowl team, and he's going to be a part of that. He's exactly what they're looking for to kind of complete. He's the missing puzzle piece to their puzzle. And I think they're going to have a lot of success on defense, and Star's going to be an important part of that right out of the gate.
NFL locals this year, probably going to be pretty fun, huh?
I'm excited. Sundays are going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be so easy because there's so many great players, especially Utes, having such an impact in the league.
Right. It's going to be tough, though, recording on all of those games. We may have to.
I don't mind at all. Watching Sunday football all day long. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, guys. We'll be back with some more in a second. There were also a number of Utes who signed free agent deals with teams after the draft. Here's a list of those, the latest list we have of Utah free agent signings. We'll start with Dave Kruger. He's going to play with his brother Paul in Cleveland. I think he's got a great chance to make that team, by the way. Reggie Dunn, of course, going to the Steelers. Sean Selwood, the Falcons. Reggie Tops hasn't signed, but will get a tryout with the Cardinals. Ryan Lacey to the Saints. Mo Lee, Ravens. David Rolfe, a guy that we don't talk a lot about, but he's got a good chance to make the Chargers roster as a special teams player. Devontae Christopher with the Redskins, Tavita Stevens also with the Redskins. Sam Brenner's going to South Florida. We have a list on KSL.com. We'll continue to update of more names when they're added. Mike Grant spoke to Reggie Dunn about his new home in Pittsburgh.
Can you tell us about the phone call from the Steelers?
I was talking to them before the draft was even over, really. Like, the picture's still going. I was talking to the special teams coordinator. He told me to hang on 1 second. The head man wants to talk to you. And I got on the phone with Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin just told me, he was like, this is the best place for you. He was like, we don't have a kick returner. He was just telling me that if I do what I have to do, he's known to put rookies on the field that can make an impact for a team. My dad has been a Steelers fan his whole life, and I grew up a Steelers fan, a diehard Steelers fan, and my dad's best friend, Louis Lips, played for the Steelers. It just felt right, the right situation for me. I got the chills when I was talking to him, and I'm just excited. I just want to go down there and show them that I can make plays for them any way possible. If it's kick returns, punt returns, they want me to return punts as well. I know I didn't get a chance to do that at Utah, but now everybody gets to see me return punts, and they're going to see how good I am at doing that as well. So I'm just excited to go down there and try to make plays for the team any way possible. And I'm just excited to be a part of a franchise where I could just go and try to make an impact, being an undrafted free agent. I have a chip on my shoulder, and I want to just go and show everybody what they missed out on. Man, I just want to say to the Utah fans, you guys are the best fans that a football player could ever ask for. I can't even explain how much Ute Nation means to me, and I know I mean a lot to them, and I'm glad I got to give them something to hold their head up on towards the end of the season last year. I know it was real fun for them.
Well, that's an impressive list of free agents. The odds are long for each of them to make an NFL roster. We come back to the guys from the Crimson Corner, Robert Jackson, Mike Grant. Of all these guys, who has the best chance to make an NFL roster?
Got to be Reggie Dunn, right? I think it's Reggie Dunn. Yeah. The guy. Everybody's looking for a kickoff return, a punt return, one of those cheap and easy game-changing scores. You saw it with the Ravens last year with Jacoby Jones. Everybody needs that. Everybody wants that. And Reggie Dunn is that guy. 4.2 speed. I think it's Reggie Dunn.
You talk about game changers and special teams being that extra third component of the game that a lot of teams probably take for granted. Go ask Adam Vinatieri or Jason Elam if special teams should be taken for granted. Reggie Dunn's a guy, I mean, he has 5 100-yard kickoff returns in his career for touchdowns. That is something that no other player in NCAA history has done before. He had 4 in a season. He had 2 in a game. The best quote that comes to mind is from Kyle Whittingham after the game against Colorado, where he said, "I can't believe they kicked it to him." And that's just how amazing his career was at the University of Utah. And I think that he has that game-changing ability, the breakaway speed, the 4.2 speed. Another guy I like, although that he got picked up late, is Sam Brenner. I mean, he's a guy that Utah had to put in 3 different places on that offensive line last year, and he did well at all 3. He was probably the single most anchor of that offensive line last season. So I like to see him in his ability and see what he can do with the Dolphins. I know that they're moving forward offensively, so I'm anxious to see it from all 10 guys.
Well, and everybody needs offensive linemen. Everybody needs that big body. I'm going to say a name here that you mentioned during that free agent list, David Rolfe, too. Yeah. That guy is huge. He could be a possible gunner on special teams for the Chargers. I think he might be, if Reggie Dunn doesn't stick, if all those other guys don't stick, I think David Rolfe might. Everybody needs that guy who can run down on the kickoff and for lack of a better way, just put people on their backs and make tackles. David Rolfe is a possibility for the Chargers.
No, I agree. Reggie Dunn, I think, in this list has the best chance to make a roster and have an impact in the league. But I'm going to throw out one more name, too. You guys haven't mentioned. It's Dave Kruger. Now, why does Dave Kruger have a chance to be successful? Number one, that organization worked him out at Pro Day. They really like him. But he's going to be there with his brother Paul. And what a better situation could you have than to be there with somebody you know and that can walk you through the ropes, somebody that's played at an all-pro level last year, that's been to a Super Bowl. He's in a situation where he can have success right out of the gate and make that roster. Now, he's not going to start. I don't know how much of an impact he'll have, but he's got a good chance to make that roster because they like him and because he's going to have the support in place to make that happen. I really like his chances.
All he has to be is a shadow of Paul. Just follow him around, try to do everything that Paul does, and he may make that impact.
I'll tell you what, Utah kids, we put more defensive tackles in the NFL than any other position. For some reason, Utah has the ability to develop great defensive tackle talent. Haloti Ngata, Star Lotulelei. For whatever reason, big guys from Utah have a chance to stick in the league, and I think he has got a great shot.
And I also think that the Utes in general are putting more. I can't believe how many guys are in the league. They've in the last 10 years, they've had 27 players drafted, and who knows how many free agents have signed, but 27 players drafted. I mean, if you're looking recruiting-wise at going to the U, and you're thinking, man, I don't know, is this program going to put me, in the next level? Yes. Yes, this program does put you in the NFL, or it gives you at least a good chance to do that. It's fun to watch these guys come to Utah, grow up, and move on to the next league.
And these are players that are on both sides of the ball. They're not just offense or just defense. Right. Yeah, I mean, we talked about the Panthers and having Jordan Gross and Steve Smith. Well, look at the Chargers, who have the highest paid safety in the league at Eric Weddle, who was a nobody coming out of Diamond Bar, California, but just made his impact. Once he made it into the league, we've seen him play on Sundays. He's a tremendous interview, well-spoken, on and off the field, so to speak, but just his game-changing ability to create those plays. And it seemed like for Utah in that 2006 season, he was playing quarterback, he was playing running back, he was playing punter, he was playing field goal kicker, he was playing defensive back. I mean, any position that Utah needed, he was able to fill that. And these organizations look for players like that, the quality character players, I think.
Yeah, I mean, they send quarterbacks, offensive linemen, defensive linemen. They send everybody to the league.
Well, you mentioned the 27 in 10 years. Isn't that what you have to do in the Pac-12? Yeah. Utah has to continue, even exceed that moving forward to compete with Oregon, USC. Look how many Oregon guys were drafted. This is the new world that they're in. They've got to pump out that much NFL talent in order to go out and tell recruits, we can do it too. So this is to be expected, and it actually needs to be exceeded moving forward for this program to grow.
I do think this was a down year. I remember after the Sugar Bowl season, I think they had, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they had,
it was six.
6 guys, yes. Okay. 6 guys get drafted. That was, I think, one less than USC.
It was a big year.
That's where they need to be.
Yeah.
And that's something to shoot for. But, this year, Star Lotulelei and Joe Kruger drafted, as well as all these other free agents. It's an exciting time for the Utes.
Last question, real quick from both of you. Who's the next Ute to make it big in the NFL that's on the Ute roster right now?
I'm going to go with a guy that seems to catch everything in practice, and that's local Jake Murphy.
Yep.
Tight end, he can block well. He just makes that separation in the secondary. Catches everything thrown his way. We've been to spring ball, and when the quarterbacks have an off day, he's still able to make those catches. Just a tough kid, great attitude. Obviously, we know his dad, Dale. Just a great family legacy. I think that he'll has the potential to be a top 3 NFL pick, or top 3 round NFL pick. Let me rephrase that.
Murphy's great, but I also think 2 names come to mind: Eric Rowe, possible, the safety, and also C.J. Potasi. That left, we're gonna watch him this coming fall on the left as a left tackle. Everybody we saw in this draft, everybody needs a left tackle, and Potasi is potentially that guy. He's awesome.
Potasi, Murphy, and I think Kenneth Scott is going to get drafted as well. That's a great group of guys. We'll look forward to seeing how they progress and get to that next level in the future. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. That's the Crimson Corner this week. Continue to watch for us on KSL.com.
End around, gets a block from